as the U.S. Army went through their XM-17 modular handgun trials to replace the very aging Beretta 92, there was a lot of submissions, and the Glock 19X was one of them. However, the U.S. Army went a different direction, and a lot of people speculate, why did they not go with that Glock 19X? So we're going to take a look at exactly why, because everything we've heard is speculation, but the Army will say, here is why we did not go with the 19X, and it's really kind of obvious. This XM-17 modular handgun system competition that the U.S. Army announced way back in 2011 was originally almost canceled. A lot of U.S. Army officials said that they should just stick with the Beretta, and Beretta even upgraded their Beretta 92 model to accommodate what it was the U.S. Army was looking for. But ultimately what they were looking for and why they went forward and away from that 92 was a more effective, accurate, and reliable handgun than the M9. Now, what these trials required was 90% hit rate at a 4-inch circle out to 50 meters, better ergonomics, better recoil for follow-up shots, an accessory rail, ambidextrous controls, be able to fire significantly higher pressured rounds than the Beretta 92, and be able to go 10,000 rounds in between failures. But the reason a lot of people think they did not go with the Glock 19X is because they also required a thumb safety. Now, as you know, they did go with the SIG P320, and it did come with a thumb safety for the U.S. military, but it does not come with a thumb safety for civilians. But Glock did put a thumb safety on the 19X. There is a Glock thumb safety out there that they put on a few models, specifically for military and police trials around the world. But they did put a thumb safety on the Glock. Now, I'm going to add here, and this is an important note when we talk about why, it had to do with the cost, but it's not all about the cost. But this thumb safety did add an additional $150 to the cost of this 19X. Now let's come back to that, because that wasn't the only reason. There's a lot of other reasons. What the U.S. military was looking for was to purchase 250 to 550,000 handguns. And ultimately, once all these trials were done under the requirements section, Sig Sauer, it was checked good. Glock, it was checked acceptable. Well, why was that? Well, the big reason they didn't go with the Glock 19X really revolves around that it's not a modular handgun system. I mean, it's a modular handgun trial, and Glock just simply didn't submit a modular handgun. Now, what they were looking for was a modular system that would allow one gun to go between full size, mid-size, compact, that kind of thing. And Glock just simply didn't offer that in the 19X. What Sig Sauer does is they have that removable trigger package. The trigger package is the gun. So really you only got to buy one gun and you could put it in different systems. What Glock came to the table with was this 19X, showing that you can go between a 17 and a 19 and back and forth. You could put a 17 slide on a 19 grip or a 19 slide on a 17 grip, and you could even incorporate the Glock 26 into some of the 19 models if you're looking for a compact. Now herein lies the problem. It was almost as if Glock didn't listen to the instructions. Because what they showed in the 19X was that you need 3 guns to achieve what you can achieve with one gun in the SIG P320 with additional parts purchase. So the P320 was going to be selling to the U.S. Army at around $500. Modular components go for around $300, max out at about $300. So you can get a gun for $500 and 2 modular packages for $3 each, and you got 3 guns for $1,100. And really you got more than that, because you can trade out parts and make a long slide with a short grip or a big grip with a short slide. So they show that you could achieve 3 guns with buying 1 gun for $1,100, whereas in Glock, because of that trigger safety, was going for about $600 for the U.S. Army, and you had to buy 3 guns. So you're looking at $1,800 per soldier. Now, because that's what they're looking at. With SIG, they're looking at $1,100 per soldier. With Glock, they were looking at $1,800 per soldier, and that's a very, very significant piece. It's kind of like Glock pulled together a system in the 19X that they thought would satisfy the military trials, but in the end, it was that requirements over the general list of requirements, not the performance, but the list of requirements. SIG was good. Glock was just simply acceptable. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of other things in there. I'm sure politics played a role, but if you look at the actual data, why did the U.S. Army turn down the Glock pistol? It's because it just simply wasn't a modular system, and in order to make it into a modular system, it would cost almost double what Sig Sauer was saying theirs would cost. So there you go. Love any insight you might have on this. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, like I said. But these are the big ones. If you're looking for, on paper, why is it that they did not go with the Glock? Glock just simply didn't listen to the instructions, is what it sounds like. But in the end, sometimes I think Glock just goes around and says, we're Glock, take it or leave it. And most of the world takes it. Any thoughts or insight on any of that, definitely put that below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.